Hi everyone and welcome to my video today. It's going to be quite a short video, more reflection in terms of both combination of personal development and user experience. So today is going to be on my power of connections. Now, since transitioning from marketing to UX, I realised that I suppose connections and networking is a massive, powerful tool for learning and growing. And it's strange, it's a resource that's underutilized a lot in society. We're pressured to be independent rather than being a collective. And in order to grow and develop in personal and professional life, you need to build connections. And this is what I suppose, the reflection piece. Going a bit off topic, I went to the Churchill War Rooms in London because I'm a massive fan of Winston Churchill in World War II and the actual impact he did, positive impact he did for the country. And I was looking at his past to understand a bit more about who he was, a bit more about how he built himself to become, I suppose, Britain's greatest Prime Minister, in fact, one of Britain's greatest figures within the past 100 years. And I was interesting to find out that yes, he come from a wealthy background. He spent at Churchill's. He was actually quite poor, and the way he built himself up, both in his professional and his personal life, was actually building connections. And for him, it's kind of interesting to realise that although money can get you places, connections get you further, and it's more sustainable and makes you grow further. And I sort of wanted to take that board from my, I suppose, both again the professional and personal life, because connections is a very underutilized tool. And the only way I've been, I suppose, motivated and encouraged to move into UX and still continue to grow, no matter what I want to give up and actually feel like, yes, it's the route I want to go down, is through people I've met. And it's people who have approached and actually find out a bit more about them and their journey and also ask for help. And there is nothing wrong with asking for help. I think that is, sometimes we're shied away going, oh no, we have to do it ourselves. We can't look vulnerable. It's perfectly fine to be vulnerable. To be fair, I think if you feel too vulnerable at times, it actually has an adverse effect. In fact, that you don't grow, you don't learn, and the fact that you end up in a worse state than you would if you ask for help. There's no shame for asking for help. And I've got some amazing UX mentors, I've got some amazing help from other sources in my life. And the only way I've done that is actually by outreaching and approaching people. So whether that's UX mentors, reaching out to them via connections I already had, or actually via communities, and sort of met them, understand a bit more about the job role, and understand how I can develop myself further within this field. In my other lives, I've got, I suppose, I've actually made friends from these connections in terms of being in a similar group and being in a similar situation where they're just a couple of steps ahead of me. But at the same time, I'm learning and growing at the same time as they probably are. And the more you outreach to people, the more you want to, I suppose, gain experience, gain expertise, gain somebody who's a one or two steps above you. Because then A, you get a fresh perspective, B, you get information where you don't expect it. C, people are willing to give their time as long as you are willing to give up, I suppose, ask them specifically for the help. Just don't, I suppose, with connections, don't like, oh, hi, I want to be connecting with you. But actually have a purpose to be connected with somebody. So when I've approached my UX mentors, I've always asked them in terms of specific details why I've approached them. Not be like, oh, hi, I want to know more about UX. Can I have a chat with you about this? They are busy, like everybody's busy, so you need to be specific with how you want their time being spent and how you want their advice. What is going to be the best value for them and what's going to be the best value for you? Also remember to give back as well when you make these connections. Find a way of how you can help them out in some way, whether that's doing a reference or whether that's help them out with work. Just make sure you give back as well, because it's a two-way when building connections and networks. Always make sure you can give and receive. I'm trying not to say that in a innuendo way, but it's more about building up connections. And with the network, you want to be able to diverse in terms of, you don't want to be aiming for the same people all the time in terms of your network. So that's approaching people for the strategic reasons, or if it's to do with design reasons within UX. Is it to do with actually help planning and organizing? Is it to do with writing skills? Make sure you have a specific list of how you build your connections, and try not to build quality connections, not quantity connections, because A, you lose track of who you're trying to approach. B, you're not making, I suppose, that deep connections with people. And that's the whole point of connections, make sure it's deep, because then they understand you, they know you understand your abilities, you understand them, you understand what they're capable of, and also understand their patterns. So hopefully this video will help you in terms of building connections and give that insights in terms of, I suppose, how I've built it, and I suppose my passion with history of how it's combined with building personal and professional networks. So on that note, have a great day, and I shall speak to you soon. Ciao for now.